Welcome everyone to another episode of Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament 2025. We've got kind of the kickoff of our second round of Gold Sword brackets here with Zaxorai versus Centroid 41. Yeah, Centroid 41. I'm Esmar. I'm joined here by Indio. Indio, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Excited for this. First time tracking or commentating. So
Yeah, we're going to be getting right into it. We have casual boots here, so outside of marveling at some clean execution here, this is going to be kind of a just a little bit of a battle of execution here at the very start, about 5 minutes. So yeah, this is again the beginning of this set here, so neither player with an advantage. Centroid doing an early map check there. We saw all crystals there. Eastern Palace red.
I've had a couple races against Zax. He's pretty clean. Haven't seen much of Centroid's running yet, but I'm sure both guys are.
Yeah, I had the privilege of commentating Zax versus. I'm already blanking. It was just the other day, maybe even just yesterday, or the day before. But a very exciting close race. It was the game 2 of the first round.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, not too much to say about this this first part of the seed. You know, just kind of trying to. I kind of see this in casual boots as this is kind of the warm up. Make sure you're ready, get your execution on point, go through your motions. Whatever you find, you find.
Yeah, it definitely gets out the jitters for me too. Like settle into the race and kind of get in the mindset of what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you can just kind of go on autopilot and just play, versus open where you kind of have to start making decisions pretty early.
Yeah, I don't know what I feel. I don't know. Like I kind of prefer open, as frustrating than it can be sometimes, but it definitely has some more thinking, at least in the early game for sure, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing that casual boots or standard start in general takes off the table, right, is the decision of when to go and do the various parts of the escape sequence. There's the back, there's the front, and there's Dark Cross, all of which can sort of be put in sort of different places in terms of when you want to do them. And standard kind of takes that off the table. I kind of like having those extra decisions to make.
Yeah. Nice ball and chain kill there by Zax.
Yeah, this being the gold bracket, we do have the sort of the cream of the crop, as it were. These players are all very well practiced. We're probably going to be seeing very good execution. That's the main thing I feel that separates these brackets is how good the general movement is, proficiency with the different speed tech, consistency, that sort of thing is usually very well put together in this upper bracket.
Mm-hmm. So far, not much out of escape yet. I think we got the map, so
yeah. I mean, in the meantime, we can shout out the rest of our crew. We've got Furious Prince doing the restream for us, the real hero. Without the restreamer, we couldn't do any of this. And Sin Dennis on tracking. Sin Dennis, I believe, was the first seed in the gold sword bracket.
Yeah, undefeated.
Yeah, I remember I commentated Dennis's race against Zax for the end of week 6. Very strong player. But we're not here for Dennis. We're here for Zax and Centroid. So coming within the last minute or two of our escape sequence here.
Mm-hmm.
Zax a little bit ahead, largely due to the map check, but I think has played this a little quicker overall, a little bit tighter.
Yeah, a little quicker kill on the ball and chain, and yeah, no map check's probably a difference right now, I'd say. Couple heart pieces.
nice thing about casual boots as opposed to just a regular standard start is you do start with those boots. Don't have to farm for bombs, though we do have 3 on Zax's side.
I had an open seed the other day with boots were in Link's house. Of course, I started in not Link's house.
Yeah, so no particularly impactful items showing up here, so we'll just sort of continue on. Both runners getting the, I don't know the name of that trick, but sort of that instant dash after pulling a lever. And yeah, on to the rest of the beginning of the seed.
Looks like we're getting Bonk Rocks probably into CAC.
Yeah, this is all pretty pretty set in stone for pretty much all casual boots. There's not really a lot of divergence because you end up in Sank as a matter of course. Since you have a sword and boots already, it makes a lot of sense to always check Lumberjack since you're pretty close to the thing there. I think that was just 10 arrows, I believe.
Yeah. So see if
we got 20 rupees on the bush crab there from Centroid. Grabbing that early one, so he's going to have the opportunity to farm a lot of money off of those.
He's also set up nice for the bottle vendor. See if Zax pulls any more money here.
Yeah, I think Zax should be all right for bottle vendor between all of the static rupees and the potential to pull some extra ones out of chests.
Right.
But Centroid is going to be making a lot more progress towards eventual Zora, if that shows up as an early possibility. So even though trailing a little bit behind, I think it's time well spent, because Bush Crab with 20 rupees is really nice early game, especially when you get to farm 3 of them.
Nice mirror.
Actually opting not to worry about that last bush crab, just dashing right through.
No dark rooms in this seed.
Yeah, mirror and lamp showing up. Lamp logically required for Aga, so that's one more point in favor of an Aga seed versus a non-Aga seed. We just need either cape or one more sword to show up, and Aga is in logic. Without Moon Pearl, Aga is not particularly useful, but if the Moon Pearl is on Pyramid Ledge, it could be logically required. But yeah, it's just something that's kind of always in the back of your mind during this part of the seed. And yeah, Zax in perfectly fine shape to grab that bottle vendor item.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that lamp and mirror, we saw Quake, but it's kind of been a pretty dry Kakariko.
Mm-hmm. Another medallion here. So
Yeah, we're kind of knocking off all of the obscure hunts. You know, no mirror hunt for swamp, no medallion hunts.
and just 10 arrows on the race game. So see where Zax goes first here.
Yeah, I feel like with this little showing up, there's really no reason to do anything other than the South Shore and Mini Moldorm Cave. With all crystals in the Light World dungeons, you want to give yourself the best chance of finding the bow before you go to the eastern area. And with no other items, no gloves to take you up the mountain, kind of eastern is kind of the last place you wanna end up here, and you'd like to be able to complete it, especially with the whole thing in logic, including the vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, I find I always kind of get stuck with, do I want to go to desert area first or go to eastern? Like that decision, I feel like I never know what to do, or just never make the same decision.
You're opting for desert.
Yeah.
The thing with going over here is you really only get knowledge on one and one other check. Zach's even opting not to even check the knowledge, but going to Agina. This is a very often sort of left for later kind of check. I know I personally don't tend to get to Agina until sort of early mid game, and here it has a sword, which actually puts Aga 1 in logic.
Wonder if we'll get a rush Aga, probably not, but
probably not without Pearl.
Yeah.
Because the only reason that it could be required right now is if Pearl is on Pyramid Ledge, because I don't think any other Dark World check is in logic.
And Centroid also going to desert, so no divergence yet.
We do see the hook shot in Mini Moldorm Cave. That's and the glove. So that immediately, I see those items here. I'm thinking of going up the mountain as soon as it makes sense. Because with the glove, you have logical mountain access. With the lamp, you have the hook shot. You can make it to the right side. So that's clean 7+ checks. Like, you could go eastern here and, maybe pull something nice out of the 3 checks by Sahasrahla. But with it being a crystal, there's really nothing to lose by getting to that any later. You're probably going to have to go up the mountain for those, a handful of checks anyway. And it's a long shot at this point to make it any more efficient by getting the mitts to do Dark World, because you need to get the Moon Pearl too. It's just a lot of and that knowledge of the bush crab paying off here, and Centroid being able to grind even some more money, almost up at that Zora level, with Zax only at about 1,500.
Yeah, we'll see if he's setting up for big flippering over there, and we'll get to see those checks.
Yeah, I definitely expect to see it from Centroid here. We didn't see Zach set up the water walk, so I think a lot of that coming from not having the ability to check the Zora, especially with Zora in particular being in logic. It's the only in logic check out of any of those up there right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk in the chat the other day about Ice Rod Cave, who typically skips that, checks that. It's kind of interesting hearing people.
Yeah, skipping it is, I feel, is a really it's a hard sell in any boots mode, in my opinion, just because it's never gonna get that much faster to go there than it is kind of at the start of the seed. So you can only hope for flute, which in some seeds isn't even necessary. Yeah, and due to Centroid's diligence, picks up just enough with one trip into the Ruby Cave there to shore up the Zora check. And we have our map check here. Green Pendant, Skull, TR, and Pod. I think the red crystal was Thieves Town.
Yeah, and I think
it was Meyer, okay. I knew it was somewhere on the left-hand side.
Really, early tempered's nice.
Yeah, I mean, especially for Tower of Hera, it makes the Moldorm bot fight here quite a bit easier than. I mean, it's not a difficult fight if you're well practiced in it, but it's pretty darn quick with 3 swords. And now I missed what we picked up. Was that Harapot to save time or Harapot because we didn't get? Okay, it was to save time, so we did get the big key.
Yeah, the map was in that chest.
Ooh, but we do pick up the small key, so there is an item in the basement. Meanwhile, a bottle on Zora, so that is a sick kid. That is a possibility now. Don't know if Centroid's going to go for that immediately.
Could be Eastern here. Eastern Saha.
Oh yeah, and I think we missed on the left side of the screen there. Centroid doing those flippers checks ended up getting the Titan's mitt. Is that?
He got the boomerang, and I think just some garbage, money or arrows or something. All 3 medallions.
But yeah, we are not opting here into the Eastern dip for Centroid. I mean, I expect we're going to see something show up on the mountain here because all of those mountain checks are in fact in logic. And yeah, we're actually seeing Centroid take those mitts over to King's Tomb here.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Out of logic. Yeah, I didn't see it either, but we got Sheehan Cat in chat keeping us honest. But yeah, we're noting those are out of logic until the flippers show up, but that's, I mean, them's the breaks. If you stay in logic, sometimes you lose time, eh? and that's actually 2 extra checks that Centroid can do on the mountain. Again, out of logic, without Moon Pearl, you can't do like Hookshot Cave, but Super Bunny Cave, due to this titular Super Bunny glitch, is fully in logic here. Well, not in logic, but fully accessible.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when Zax gets back over there to Zora area.
Yeah, so if those 2 checks are something big, which, I mean, honestly, in this scenario, they probably won't be. I mean, I don't see it being something as impactful as Hammer being out of logic here. It's possible. But yeah, like, it can't be Moon Pearl, which would, I think, be the best thing for Centroid to get up over Zax at this point. And Moon Pearl can't be in those extra checks, so if Moon Pearl is up on the mountain, it's going to be in the checks that both of them are getting here. So we're getting to them pretty quick here for Zax.
Nice fetch quest.
Yeah, and 1 rupee. It's green. Don't spend it all in one place. When I saw that line in Minish Cap, it's stuck in my memory, core memory for me.
Centroid electing to get the red mail, so they'll have that.
Yeah, I feel at this level of competition that that red mail is that's right on the borderline of what I would like recommend spending time to get, because I feel like you want to be able to trust yourself enough to be fine on blue mail.
Totally,
but
yeah.
you know, it could be helpful. It lets you sort of bum rush a lot more stuff, take face tank stuff. Yeah, I fully expect us to see Centroid do Tower of Hera here as well. It's our first crystal dungeon, fully in logic. There's no real reason to not do it.
Zax probably gonna make his way over to. Oh, going south. Interesting. Or fake flip right here. There we go. That makes sense.
Yeah, a bit lesser known than the fake flipper that's kind of south of the lake here, but a quick way to get to the potion shop here. Turn in the one interesting item that showed up on the mountain.
I think Zax will pair this up with going up to Zora. Curious if he'll.
Yeah, it does have the
that.
money for it.
Oh, and he's got flippers.
Especially now, I think. Definitely, because now you have access to the ledge item without having to do a splash delete or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of tools for splash delete.
Yeah, so those mitts are not that delayed for him, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like mitts in that location is mitts are a really interesting item because like you're sort of forced into it sooner or later. So actually missing mitts isn't as big as it might seem because it's one of the major keys.
Right.
So like you can't. It's not even possible to miss it for too long. It has to really be in a specific kind of location in order to really hurt you that much. Of course, it does happen in missing them for a long time, especially depending on what specifically is behind them.
Yeah, my race today was go mode was mitts back or big chest swamp, pendant swamp.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, with nothing else to do, I wonder if Zax turns that bottle in right away.
Yeah, probably heads Village of Outcasts after that, I imagine. Oh no, sorry, no Moon Pearl. What am I talking about?
Yeah, no Moon Pearl. I mean, this could be Moon Pearl on Pyramid Fairy. Or not Pyramid Fairy, Pyramid Ledge. Yeah, certainly going to King's Doom here first. I definitely don't think that we see Zax go back to the mountain just to do Out of Logic Super Bunny, which we're going to see from Centroid here. So if this is the right play for Zax, I don't think it's happening, but we'll get our knowledge here in just a second.
This is definitely something I got to learn. This Super Bunny, never tried it.
It's free. It's literally Super Bunny is activated here when you fall down the hole here. That activates the glitch.
Oh,
it's called
easy.
Super Bunny Cave because like it just works. It's in logic because of it's not in logic, but it's accessible because of Super Bunny glitch, and we do find an impactful item. Not the Moon Pearl, so not the worst thing for Zax to be missing here. But given that Ice Palace is something we have to do and doesn't require, but is very much sped up by that cane, it's in an okay place for Zax, because Zax is probably going to find it before trying to do Turtle Rock, but might slow him down in Ice if everything else plays into his hands.
Yeah, that seemed a lot easier to set up than the Meyer Shed Super Bunny, or whatever that's even called.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called Super Bunny Cave because it's free. It's completely free. Fun fact too, if anybody is into doing multi-world, getting an item from another player also activates the Super Bunny glitch. So that's something you can take advantage of if you're ever doing a multi-world.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, it's really just anything that like interrupts the player's state in a non-intended way. Centroid taking the fall there on that bomb jump.
I'm gonna get our first look at Eastern, I believe, on the right here.
Yeah, with the main difference here between Zax and Centroid, I really feel is down to how many more things Centroid had to check getting here. Zax, really not that much left, so and you don't want to be too afraid of the Eastern double dip, because given how restrictive the beginning of a seed can be, you know, if Moon Pearl doesn't show up and you don't really have access to any of Dark World, I would say Eastern Palace is probably the least avoidable double dip. The dungeon most likely to be required to double dip.
And a flute.
It doesn't. Ooh, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because the flute doesn't open up anything right away here. Well, no, I guess you can get into desert, because we do have the mirror.
Yep, that's
Desert's in logic. None of the Dark World stuff is in logic, but desert and checkerboard cave are both in logic here. So yeah, it's maybe a good call. Maybe a good call I would not have made. It would have taken me a while. It would have taken me until after I'd already cleared out the rest of Eastern to realize that it puts that in logic.
Yeah, I think if that was a pendant, I might have made that play, but being a crystal, I think I would have at least cleared out the front of Eastern there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, first check, right? First check is not that bad. Even the first two, right? But if you've gone as far as the third chest in Eastern, I say you finish out the front just to find Big Key. But the first two are kind of before you've done enough. Oh, and do we have the Meyer Super Bunny setup coming here? No, probably just went in there realizing I couldn't actually grab it. Meanwhile, Centroid picking up those flippers, putting those mitts back in logic.
Ooh, Moon Pearl.
And yeah, Moon Pearl and Checkerboard Cave. The classic.
So he's smarter than me, that's for sure. Nice move by Zax there, picking that up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like one of the things outside of execution that separates the top runners from the medium runners, we'll call them, is just that instant knowledge. You pick up an item, you instantly know what it unlocks. You know, you kind of have that map tracker in your head of just like, I know what that puts in logic, and you can make those snap decisions on what you want to decide to do next. We are getting a new check here too on Centroid's side. Hobo, which I don't believe we saw from Zax.
Zax grabbed it, yeah. It was 10 arrows.
Oh. Well, never mind then. I didn't say anything false. I didn't believe that, so. But yeah, I think we're going to see Centroid head over to Eastern. Not too much else to pick up here.
Still one item left in desert.
Yeah, despite that early mitts pickup from Centroid, Zax has kind of been able to just kind of stay ahead of the curve. You know, check more things a little bit faster. And that's kind of the fallacy of you know, taking risks, is sometimes a risk can feel like it's paying off, but it really doesn't buy you any time in the long run if your opponent is staying quick and efficient. We are seeing Centroid continue on into Eastern, so we'll see if this pays off. I don't think there's too much that it could pay off with, though, with Zax now having access to all of Dark World.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with that Samaria pickup, you could maybe think Centroid's got one mountain trip saved, potentially.
Yeah, that's true. The Samaria showing up could buy some time later, but that's not going to become apparent for quite some time.
Yeah, like with TR being a pendant, I mean, obviously Zax is going to go up and do Hookshot Cave and all that stuff, or whatever he missed at some point. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. With Meyer being a crystal, Zax is going to have to go up the mountain and come back down at some point. And that could take a while with, well, no, I guess after the Moon Pearl, now you have all of the, the 6 checks in Dark World open, so. I guess 7 if you count Spike Cave, but that's kind of a whole nother can of worms.
Centroid on his way to activate his flute.
Yeah, Furious pointing out, we are only 2 items away from go mode. If a hammer shows up and a bow shows up, that's everything we need to do completable. With both TR and Skull Woods being pendants, we don't need either of the rods. And we've seen Samaria, even though Zax does not have it yet.
Yeah, I mean, also with these low hearts, if they don't really get many more, that red mail might come into play.
That's true. That's true. This is, if this seed ends up being as jet as it could be, red mail could definitely make a difference. Because here with yeah, on blue mail, it's really only 2 Ganon touches that'll just kill Zax from full. Red mail takes that up to what, 4? Or is it 4 hearts on I want to say it's 8 hearts on green mail.
For 1 Ganon hit. I'm not well versed in that knowledge, but crazy.
All I know is you touch Ganon, you get a ton of damage. 2 feels too low for red mail, but maybe it's not. Maybe it might be like 843 or something. But we are getting our first Dark World dungeon here, Thieves Town. And this is kind of where you want to be. Like, where Zax is where you want to be. You have a lot of Dark World dungeons you can do, and just sort of collect your items along the way. That's a lot of time to sort of figure out what the right next step is going to be. You can really just kind of coast on autopilot for quite some time here if you're Zax.
Yeah, when I first started in this tournament, I always got nervous not doing this doing this dungeon without hammer, but I've gotten over that.
Yeah, and there we go. The bow just shows up, and it's like, okay, that answers some of the lingering questions. That's one of the things we need. That's both Pod and Eastern that can be finished. So Zax's not punished for only getting the front chest in Eastern. But yeah, there are a lot of people that have gotten very heavily burned by Thieves Town without hammer. But in my experience, it is relatively rare. But when it does bite you, it bites you really hard because you really don't want to go back to Thieves Town.
No.
Yeah, while it's true that we can't beat Pod without the hammer here, I feel like the bow showing up kind of encourages you to kind of go over to that area. Because even if you can't finish Pod, you can get every single check except the one, logically, with just the bow. And if you can finish Eastern, obviously you'd like to finish both of them, but I think finishing Eastern and checking the checks in Pod is... having that option available to you is very valuable.
Yeah, I imagine Zax will just ride that crystal train until he can't. But we'll see if he dips into Skull Woods at all.
Yeah, and also with Pod being a pendant, I feel like you see that bow show up. The only thing you really need it for is you know, the red mimics in GT and Eastern Palace. So you do Eastern Palace and you check all of pod that you can. There's no reason not to if you're in the area. You still kind of want to put that off until as late as you can get away with, just in case you find the hammer right away and you're in go mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just about finishing up here with another dungeon on Zax's side as Centroid takes that, Centroid did Eastern Palace before checking Checkerboard Cave. Has not had that Moon Pearl show up just yet.
Oh, Super Bunny.
It's gonna feel very silly when he checks Checkerboard.
Yeah. Oh.
Doesn't really lose time, but is quite silly.
Yeah, maybe he'll go right to Meyer with Samaria.
It's true. Without bow, it's kind of a hard sell, but yeah, it is beatable.
Are you saying that for the boss fight, I guess?
Yeah, just the boss.
Yeah.
It's so much faster with the bow.
Yeah.
Like a one arrow, non-silver arrow is worth one tempered sword spin. And even gold sword slashes are the same damage as an arrow, but you can get arrows off so much faster. It just saves so much time to have arrows.
Yeah, we're going into Meyer.
Yeah, I would say like not enough to avoid it at this point, but definitely going to be losing some time here compared to Zax. Zax is going to be gaining like 12 to 30 seconds just off the top of my head. Somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a bit overstating it, but yeah, Zax here still playing for item density. Just grabbing all of these checks. You kind of have everything you could ever want. You have other than hammer. So hammer pegs here is going to get left a little bit isolated, as will magic bat. Whenever Centroid gets around to that, fake powder will be an option. That's a nice hookshot dash tech there from Zax. As long as the chest is still trying to catch up with you, you cannot drop it, which is usually the problem with dashing with chest. It's not that the chest can't follow you while dashing, it's that the dash button is the same button that drops it.
Just enough magic on Centroid's side to light those. And a compass.
And we are going to see the cutscene chest done first here, which I think makes sense if you're doing this early dive. You don't want to gamble that you won't have to come back for it.
So far, Smith chain, not or into Stumpy and K45. Nothing there.
Yeah, I wonder actually, are we gonna see Swamp here? You could just Specky clip and ignore the hammer requirement.
And there we
Never
go.
mind. No need. I mean, we're still probably going to see Specky clip because it's a little bit faster, but no longer necessary.
So that is go mode. Well,
Yeah,
no.
the viewers, the
we
viewers are in go mode. We are in no mode, as we say. However, yeah, Zax is going to have to take that second trip. And actually, interestingly, Centroid pulls the Fire Rod there out of Mire. Half magic on purple chest. But the Fire Rod in Mire is a very interesting pull because the Fire Rod puts a lot of stuff in logic. That, unfortunately, since we know where all of the needed items are, isn't really liable to help Centroid too much. Because it really just, like, adds more checks to the potential pool. Really the biggest thing with the Fire Rod, which, I mean, honestly, Zax is going to be hitting before GT anyway, most likely, unless he's go-moding Mire, which actually is a very strong possibility, given that the go-mode item is going to be the Cane. But the Fire Rod is required for the right side of GT basement.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, definitely advantage Zax here. It's really down to... I mean, Centroid is going to be finding that bow in short order.
Yeah, we'll see if that Fire Rod pushes Centroid into Skullwood's dip, because I don't think Zax is going to touch that.
I don't think so, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's possible you do the Skullwoods dip, just like the way that a lot of people do front of Skullwoods is kind of overworld. But the next dungeon Centroid does is almost certainly going to be Thieves Town, which is going to get the bow.
Yeah.
And then it's just hammer from go, and it's certainly not going to be too long before he checks Hype Cave, so... The Centroid's going to hit go mode first, I'm almost positive. Ooh, second bow showing up in Swamp, so that's Silvers.
Where was our first bow? I'm blanking on that.
First bow was Front of Thieves.
Oh, right, yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be the next thing Centroid picks up. Eventually going to run into the hammer, and then Centroid will be, in fact, be in go mode. So actually, the dip that Zax is probably going to want to make into Pod when doing Eastern is going to play into Centroid's favor, because Centroid is going to know there's really no reason to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a couple minutes he's going to get back.
Yeah, I imagine Zax
really... Yeah, I predict that the mountain's kind of going to be the last thing on Zax's radar right here, just because there's so much to do in the overworld. All of your items or all of your crystals are down here pretty much. So you want to just stay down here, hope you run into the Cane, and then you can do Mire and just head up and all's well. However, in doing so, is probably going to be running into that Cane a bit late, and is going to be doing a whole bunch of extra stuff, not quite being in go mode.
Yeah, and luckily for Centroid, he avoided the Skullwoods dip, so he will potentially save that time.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, though, this is still kind of anybody's race, because, I mean, Zax plays well enough. Like, it's really not over, because Zax is definitely still has an advantage, is ahead in, like, overall checking stuff. You know, so as long as he continues to play well, he can afford all of that extra checking that he's now liable to do. So that's... We'll have to just wait and see how this shakes out, how, after all is said and done, how close they are.
Yeah. This is a left side swamp check too. That's interesting as well, but maybe just big chest. I don't know if he got the big key.
Yes, we did get the big key. But yeah, like this is all time that Centroid is going to have no real reason to check. It's possible Centroid misses the second bow. So that could come into play. Because yeah, that second bow is in compass chest, so the wraparound on the bottom. That's something that if you're in go mode, you very well might decide to skip.
I hate doing left side swamp for nothing. Oh man, the worst feeling.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of feels worse than it is, just because I feel like most people do left side swamp. You know, like it's
Yeah.
I feel like it used to be more common to skip it. Like back when I started, I felt like it was a bit more meta to, like back in like 2020, it was a bit more meta to just like, oh, I'm just gonna gamble that nothing's over there. But now, you know, people have gotten better enough at the game that it's like it's really not that bad to just kind of go for it. And so yeah, we're gonna see Zax head into Ice Palace with no Fire Rod and no Samaria. So again, a slower dungeon clear.
Yeah, really wanting to push off that mount.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, if you're Zax here, you want to play to your win con, which is, you don't want to just go up the mountain and find nothing and have to come back down. You know, you want to avoid climbing up the mountain again if Samaria is down here, because that's you're only one item away from go mode, which is, you know, that's a place you kind of want to hope that stuff plays into your hands, because if you're too conservative with that close to go mode, then you can really end up missing out on a lot of potential time save.
Where do you stand on hitting the switch if you're doing Icebreaker?
In my opinion, you hit the switch only if you're go moding the dungeon. If you because I feel like you have to do some weird hoo-ha to get to Ice Tea if you don't if you go and hit the switch.
Yeah, I guess you gotta bomb jump or yeah, get over there. I just hit it out of habit every time. I feel like I don't ever really think about it. And Centroid leaving CAC, so definitely not going into Skullwoods.
Ooh. I feel like that was, yeah, you kind of didn't want to flute there.
Maybe I take that back. Maybe he does want to go into Skullwoods.
Well, I think at the very least you want to stay in Dark World here. You've got Smith Chain, you've got the South Loop, you've got to go to Hype Cave at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, because But in the meantime here, Zax has been. I haven't been watching like a hawk, but Zax has been playing very well, and what Zax needs to do here is just kind of stay the course and execute. There's no reason here for Zax to take a risk and go up to the mountain early. So
Yeah, he's cruising. He's gonna be one crystal away here pretty shortly.
yeah, what he needs to do to win this, even though Centroid has a routing advantage, Zax just has to maintain the execution advantage, and it has to be enough. And so far, been doing a very good job of that. Because you take a suboptimal route, if you have an advantage, if you're ahead in time, even if your route's suboptimal, you can still sort of take the race. But if you're doing that and then you start dropping like a second here and there, that's when the danger starts to creep in. But yeah, getting a very rare showcase of a mostly normal Ice Palace. Ice Palace is never normal. Never ever do you see anybody completed the vanilla intended method, but
Yeah, I feel like I forget how to do all the vanilla stuff.
yeah, it's very weird to think about, but yeah, in vanilla there is a reason for every single room, pretty much every single room in Ice Palace that exists. But yeah, right now the big sort of question on Zax's side is the Fire Rod missed. Because Zax will be in go mode going into Mire. And I think the big key showed up before the Fire Rod did. So it's whether or not you weigh you're thinking about the chances that you're going to need the Fire Rod in GT and are willing to risk doing some extra Mire checks for it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, big key was cutscene chest. So if that's the case, then I think it's rather likely. No, maybe not that likely. Maybe after finding the big key in cutscene chest, you decide, okay, I'm not doing anything else here. But facing going into GT without the Fire Rod, which you may need, you may decide, I may as well grab some of the other chests here because they're quick. But yeah, we'll just have to find out.
What's the room in GT that requires Fire Rod? Is it the disappearing tile one with the fireballs?
It's the room after tile room where you have to light the 4 torches. Because logically,
right, yeah.
There's the torch across the gap. It is possible to light that with the lamp, but it's definitely not in logic. At least I think it's possible. I may be getting it confused because I know it's possible to do the torch room in Skull Woods without the fire rod.
Right, yeah.
And it may be similarly possible in GT.
So,
but yeah, here's Zax spending extra time here. But yeah, you're right. That is go mode for Centroid. Meanwhile, Zax spending some unnecessary time here in Pod. And with the silvers already having shown up, I think that's the biggest time save we're likely to see. Because, you know, even Gold Sword showing up is not going to save too much time over just tempered.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do need hammer for GT, but I think our tracker is probably just being a little slow here to update, because that hammer indeed has shown up. That is Hype Cave. Yeah, I think we are seeing Zax here do Eastern first. I imagine went through, opened pod, doing Eastern first, because obviously you don't want to go into pod first if it's a pendant, because what if you find the cane here? I imagine we're going to see pod checked after Eastern is completed, though. But yeah, like right now, you can kind of see what a huge sort of lead Zax had. So even with that extra time that Zax has already spent and is going to be spending, Centroid is only just now getting to Swamp Palace. So we'll see after pod where things stand. I imagine Centroid's still gonna be mid Ice Palace, or maybe just finished with Ice Palace by the time Zax is done. But yeah, notably missing the silver arrows.
So we got Mire and the mountain difference with Centroid, and then ice is essentially what Centroid needs to get caught up here in terms of checks, really.
And I mean, Centroid really can't afford, just has to go mode this, right? That's your win con here, is you go mode this and you hope that your opponent is not going to be able to make the time. Really, both of these runners are they're trying to hit go mode as fast as possible and just go. That's what go mode means, right? So Centroid has a real shot if, again, the execution is clean. It's really hard to say this far out because I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of how long things take.
Mm-hmm. Me either.
So it's fun to watch. Because you know, Zax is going to spend a non-zero amount of time here in pod. So. Yeah, Centroid's going to have the quick Ice Palace with Icebreaker too, so...
Yeah, it's crazy how much that one check for that glove has kind of made that difference.
Out of logic too.
Yeah.
It was really just getting the glove before the second trip up the mountain.
Yeah.
Because logically, you could have just gone to Mire first if you'd pulled the flute out of Eastern already. But
right.
Centroid hitting the switch, because you are in go mode. There's no real reason to make Ice Tea easier to get to, and it does allow you to just go straight down. So yeah, the main reason that's faster in go mode Ice is it removes the need to find the big key and like one other small key. You can just drop straight down if you do that. Otherwise, you have to find a big key, small key, which sometimes forces you to go to Ice Tea anyway.
Right.
I think you can always get there if you go to Ice Tea, but if you're skipping a bunch of checks and you might not pick up the big key or a small key, then it's better to hit the switch because it allows you to skip a couple doors.
Wonder if Zax will take this all the way to the boss or just bounce here after getting big chest.
Yeah, it probably depends on item count. I have not been counting, but even if the last one is an item, I don't know. Like, maybe if you're really being diligent, you get the boss if it's an item here, because it's not a super slow boss.
And we're gone.
Yeah, so either that's enough items or Zax is not interested in taking it all the way to the boss. Alright, we'll see how Centroid's Cold Stare fight goes. Ooh, it's a little out of hand. A little bit extra time. Red Mail helping out.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, and the timer is it's on now because Zax is up the mountain. So Centroid here has to do Eastern and then go up the mountain and then beat Zax in being Silver's down effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, that's like, 8 spins, right? On Ganon? 8 with tempered? Yeah.
That sounds right. It feels wrong. I'm thinking back to my tempered silverless fights. It certainly feels like more than 8, but it definitely sounds right. But yeah, I think worth pointing out here, this is the real fun of racing Link to the Past randomizer, or any randomizer really, because neither runner has made a bad decision throughout this seed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And just one slight difference in the amount of information they both have available to them, just alters the way they behave in such a way that they take completely different routes through the seed, end up doing completely different amounts of things.
Yeah, the execution by both of these guys has been
12. Okay, so we're seeing 12 in chat. That feels right to me. 12 feels right to me. 8 seemed a little low. But yeah, 12 tempered sword spins feels right. Which I don't know the exact delta, but suffice it to say it's significantly slower than 4 silver arrows. Yeah, so to answer a question in chat from Dr. John, the main thing that incentivized the early Meyer dip was that Centroid had the cane at the time and Zax did not. Centroid's go mode was the hammer, and Zax did not hit go mode until just recently. Really nice kill there on Centroid's side.
Yeah, when that East Armos fight gets out of hand, it's it's quite annoying to clean up.
Yeah, it's annoying is the right word for it, because it's never a hard fight. Because if you can get to it, you have the bow, which trivializes the fight, but you always feel like you could be doing it a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And yeah, Centroid is up. Centroid is heading for GT right now, 104, which is rather quick, I'll say. It's a bit speedy. And Zach's about to hit the big key. So I guess we'll stay tuned to Centroid's side and see if the Fire Rod is impactful here in GT. Because if it is, that's a little bit GG's for Zax, unfortunately.
Yeah. Crazy that's something that could come into play here. I know I wouldn't even be thinking about that. That's a GT requirement. But
yeah, you get a lot more.
I'm sure these guys know
GT requirements. Yeah, you get a lot more used to those GT requirements in Map Randomizer, because you get a lot more familiar with, if you have access to the GT entrance, you very quickly get familiar with which parts of it you do and don't have access to. If you have access to it, say at the beginning of a seed versus always at the very end.
Yeah, I feel like I
you know,
just
sometimes like,
always
oh,
have Fire
I
Rod.
don't have hammer. What do I need hammer for? I don't have Samaria. What do I need Samaria for? I don't have fire rod. What do I need fire rod for? And you may have to end up dipping in there like 4 or 5 times if you're unlucky. But yeah, we're seeing some numbers pour in for guesses. We got 2 guesses for 3. For the sake of the race, I want to guess late here. I want to guess not so late that they'll both get it late, but I'll go like a 17.
We'll go 8.
Yeah, we did get the fire rod skip from Zax, so I didn't quickly do the calculus enough to know whether a typical 17 check would be after you get the fire rod. Actually, I kind of am hoping that the fire rod is not required, so Zax can keep it a little closer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing the dividends here of fast ROM. Yeah, that gold sword showing up actually is a lot better for Centroid than he realizes. It's gonna speed up that the Delta in the Ganon fight.
That's got to be 8. I feel that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that's 6.
Okay. It's totally wrong.
That makes it would make sense for gold sword to be, because it's usually double, right? So
Yeah. My math ain't mathing. And yeah, even with all that, Zach's not that far behind.
yeah, not terribly far behind. So like a little bit of if Zax really holds this race together and Centroid stumbles a little bit, but yeah, you know, giving full credit to both of these racers, right? Like if you're giving full credit to them both, it's definitely favored for Centroid here. Like it's a big several minute head start into Ganon's tower here.
Mm-hmm.
And Zax can't check the right side at all. Unless he goes for the bomb jump.
Ooh, Centroid just holding on there.
Yeah, so if Centroid picks up the... I haven't been counting the checks, honestly. I hope chat can keep up with that for us. But, yeah, these are the last 4 checks here. This and the post-Ice Armos chests are the chests that we would ideally, for Zax, like to see the big key in.
I think that was 13. If I'm counting properly, but maybe not. There it is.
That is 15. It is Ice Armos. So Zax is going to get there a little bit faster as long as he's sort of paying attention. And isn't planning on committing to the... But yeah, it looks like killing the Stalfos is going to get there just a tiny bit sooner, because Centroid only did Hope Room. So yeah, Fire Rod for Centroid is gonna make a couple of these rooms a little quicker, like some of the torch lighting. The arrows are gonna favor Zax a little bit. Yeah, pretty slow mimics too there from Centroid. So
Only 6 arrows.
That's what Zax needs. Yeah, it's what Zax needs though to catch up. Is needs some of these rooms to be a bit slow. Gauntlet's a big difference maker. I saw just the other day in Zax's race, Zax's Gauntlet was sublime and just overtook his opponent on the climb. It was like a couple seconds difference starting the climb. Zax was behind and ended up like a full 2 minutes ahead by the end of the seed.
Wow, yeah.
So yeah, Centroid has to play very well if he wants to maintain this advantage, especially given that the Ganon fight's going to be slower. Yeah, this is a very jet seed. You know, any seed where you're considering going into GT without an item like Fire Rod it's pretty quick. It has gone pretty quick if the seed has not seen fit to give you an item that impactful.
Nice Ice Armos there by Zax.
Arso Imos.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no shame. The number of times I have called the final boss in this tower Moldorm 3.
Nice.
Like it's the third boss, but it's really only the second Moldorm. So, but yeah, Zax's starting the climb here. So about a full climb ahead, like 3/4 of the climb, I guess. But with plenty of time to make up in the Ganon fight. I still don't think it's quite enough. So there's still gonna need to be some slowdown from Centroid for Zax to really get in this. But it's gonna be close no matter what. Within a few minutes, regardless.
Yeah, so was this the room that Fire Rod was needed for that Centroid's doing?
It's not needed for this. It definitely makes it faster.
Yeah.
It's needed for the room just to the right of tile room. It's logically required to light all those torches before the
Yes.
Gibdo room.
Yes, that's it.
Which you know is non-trivial because that's 4 chests that are logically fire locked. Okay, teeny tiny bit of extra time there from Centroid to grab that last chest there.
I wonder.
Hoping for
I guess
silvers.
looking for silvers, yeah.
Yeah, silvers would be really nice to pick up at this point.
Very clean by Zax here.
Yeah, that's what he needs. He needs to play clean, and I know he can. Yeah, that is Centroid up to the room for an embarrassingly long time. I walked on the carpet before realizing I could just cut the whole thing. We'll see the agonometry here. Oh, not a great start. Just the one. Nice pattern here. Ooh, but blue balls. Getting a little bit stiffed here on these patterns. Does get the double there, so I think one more hit. It's a 5 cycle, right? I'm counting that right? Yeah, 1 1 1 2 1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I don't
just
think I've
gotta-
ever seen
just
that.
gotta lean out over that side there. But yeah, wasting no time here. Centroid heading down to the Ganon fight. Definitely advantage here, Centroid. With a clean Ganon fight, this is his race to lock up, but it's going to be a little bit slower than Zax's, so anything could happen here. Anything short of a perfect Ganon fight starts to really put this run in jeopardy. Excellent dash pokes there.
Oh, Helmasaur's giving Zach some trouble here.
Yeah, I have developed something of a strategy for that room where I try to hookshot the first Helma, miss, give up, and just dash up the center, and it seems to work every time. I don't know exactly what I do, but it seems to work, and I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Yeah, Centroid already onto the final phase here of the Ganon fight. Gets that torch glitch set up, and it's just gonna be 6 hits here.
Oh, just cannot fall.
Yeah, with enough discipline here.
Zach's with the quick Aga too,
Yeah.
but
I think one more hit there from Centroid, and no, 2 more hits.
oh man.
More than that. Maybe it is 8. Maybe you were right. I don't know.
I don't know
But
if
yeah,
I'm that smart.
anytime
so,
2 runners are both in the Ganon fight, yeah, you know it's been a close race.
And there
And
it is.
there it is. A little bit dicey there.
GG.
We'll see if Zax can keep it within a minute here, but that is a final time of 1:17:44 for Centroid, according to racetime.gg. Let's get those GGs in chat for Centroid taking game 1 of this set, but an incredibly close game 1, and yeah, you know, very very tight margins here. So you know, any lack of execution on Centroid's part could have lost this match, but kept it through all the way to the end here. Well-earned win.
Yeah, I mean, Zax did left side swamp, pod, and it's still this close, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right, where you get an item out of logic, and you kind of have to capitalize on that, right? And if you stay in logic, you kind of have to do reverse. You kind of have to commit to that, you know, out of logicness of it, you know, and being able to capitalize on getting that cane well before Zax and hitting go mode after just about an hour is
almost exactly
well
a
done.
minute. 18:46, 17:45.
But yeah, these it's always fun to see these races that go very differently but still end up very close. And yeah, we are joined here in the booth by our 2 runners here. GG's to both of you guys. You both played incredible. It was a great race to watch.
Yeah, GG.
Now, I imagine you two haven't gotten much of a chance to kind of confer with each other on what happened during that seed, but I guess I'll spoil a little bit and say that you had a different experience from each other, even though you ended just within a minute of each other. I think we may be having some issues with Centroid here. Hopefully, Centroid is all right. Centroid, are you with us? Well, I'll take that as a maybe. In the meantime, Zaxorai, do you want to kind of walk us through your experience with the seed?
It's very jet filling. Like after you get into Dark World, getting to the Dark World access though was a little runaround.
Yeah, you definitely played the role here of the of the completionist conservative route, sort of. I would put it. Um, Definitely. I mean, if you compared your completion rates, you definitely win if we were playing by those rules. But yeah, that Moon Pearl kind of cracked everything open.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did, left side swamp, Hera basement, checked out pod, and came up empty on all counts.
Yeah, I mean, and we were kind of talking about that at the time because we were in no mode at, we collectively as the viewers knew where everything was at around 45 minutes, which is absurd. Um, but everything, every decision both of you made was the right decision for each of you at the time. So because you kind of didn't have a choice, you had to do all of Swamp Palace. There was no reason for you to skip anything there.
Yeah, with what I went in there with, still looking for Samaria. I could have went up the mountain before going to Ice Palace, but I didn't.
Yeah, that made sense with what you knew and had. So I feel like you made all the right decisions. Even with all those extra checks, you were only a minute behind, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'd be interested to rewatch this and see which route Centroid took.
Yeah, well, if we've been trying to get him in, but hopefully, okay. I did hear movement from Centroid's side, so Centroid, maybe you can tell us a little bit. GG's first of all, but maybe you can tell us a bit about how you routed this seed and sort of what you feel made the difference here.
Oh, thank you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, sorry about the connection issues. I think using the browser instead of the Discord worked better. For some weird reason. I'm trying to think. So I know I did some sequence breaking at the beginning. I guess my main question would be, did Zaxorai do the same thing with, I'm guessing fake flippers to get, I know myths, and then therefore the King of Samaria was probably out of logic. Um, but I was guessing that Zaxxai may have done the same thing.
Actually, no, I have clean hands in this seed.
Oh, I see. The flippers did come pretty early, though. I don't remember where they were, but they were rather soon after the fake flippering, so it was everything kind of fell back into logic.
Flippers. Oh, where were flippers?
Flippers were on mushroom turn in.
Mushroom,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, but that ended up actually really being the difference maker because Zax was sort of far ahead through the beginning and mid seed,
Mhm.
but the lack of Samaria ended up sort of funneling him into doing a lot more checks on the back half, whereas you, Centroid, were in go mode significantly sooner. So
I see.
just through all of that time you were able to shave away, you were able to able to end up a minute ahead. Different loadouts going into Ganon. Yeah, it's a very exciting race, and like I told Zax earlier, we were talking about how both of you made the right decisions given what you had in front of you. So it was really well raced by both of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I would say I the big yeah, the thing was like I was being really stubborn about not wanting to go to Aga Tower. Um I'm trying to think. I know that you didn't have to because you could just flew to um yeah, the pearl was a checkerboard if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was
Um
what cracked the seat open.
yeah. Um yeah, I don't remember exactly what order I did stuff in, but I do remember trying to be save Aga for last if necessary. Um so that's kind of why I was cleaning stuff up before going to desert.
Yeah, I mean, the real big difference maker was that the first time up the mountain for each of you, one of you had the mitts and was able to sequence break Super Bunny, and
Yeah.
one of you could not. So, yeah, your Go mode Centroid was the hammer in the hype cave, whereas Zax had to take another trip up the mountain just for the Cane of Samaria, which led to a
I
full
see.
clear of swamp, led to a full clear of pod. Um,
Ice
and
Palace
yeah,
the long way.
Ice
Yeah.
Palace the
Oh
Yeah.
no.
long way. True, true. So yeah, all of that added up and ate away at at the substantial lead from the beginning of the seed. However, a lot of that lead was off the back of the nice heads up play of finding that that 20 rupee bush crab and farming those a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of pushed me to do Zora a little earlier. Uh, Combined with, I guess stealing some money from the thief or whatever. Um, Trying to
Yep.
think. I had some weird mishap where I guess I forgot that I didn't have a hammer. So as soon as I got that bow in Thieves Town, I was like, okay, let's go to Pod. Um, and I'm guessing there wasn't anything super useful in Pod. Because I tried to flute to Pod and I'm like, I don't have a hammer. I need to go back. So I ended up just kind of looping around towards Pod, and thankfully just kind of ran into the hammer and hype cave. Um, I was kind of dumbfounded when I found it, and I guess that was go mode for me.
Yes. Silvers were in the back of swamp, so you were in go mode and skipped that. But Zax picked those up. That
Or
was
yeah,
maybe the main difference.
they were in the wraparound chest in the compass chest.
Oh,
So in the front.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
see.
Sorry, not the back. Yeah. Front.
So yeah, it was a little bit, wondering at the end is like, okay, how much difference is going to be made up in the Ganon fight here, but you kept your GT climb tight, and a loose GT climb could have made the difference here, but both of you
Yeah,
played excellently, and so just when you had an edge, you didn't give it up, and that's what it takes to win races. So yeah, GG's
I
on
will
game one.
say took a little. I took my time a little bit because I didn't have any powder. I didn't have any. I got a green bottle earlier. So I had really no way to replenish my health. So I was kind of trying to tiptoe through certain rooms. Some rooms were fine, but um, especially in Meyer, I was like, I don't want to run into a slug. That's another reason I went out of my way to get that red mail. I was just like, I
Mhm.
just want more safety right now. Um, I guess it kind of worked, and I heard. I guess my chat told me after I turned the emote off that Zaxorai was on the Ganon fight. Um, right after I finished, so it was still really close. Um,
Yeah, 61
even though I
second.
had the yeah, even though I had the privilege of go moding ice and swamp, still a really close race.
Yeah, Zax, were you thinking about fire rod at all? I'm curious.
No, I can do right side GT without it.
Oh, nice.
Legend.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the only other, I guess, item that Centroid you picked up that Zax never did.
I see. Yeah, double rods in Meyer, kind of worrying, but thankfully didn't need to go into TR for anything. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, I think this seed too, this race in particular, is a really good showcase of the fact that even in a jet seed, you don't have to take the specific route. You can have different routes be very close to each other. It's like all of the efficiency of Zax in the early game was offset by the early early Samaria making up difference a bunch of skippable checks. Um, but yeah, really exciting race one. Hopefully, you guys can bring it to a close race three. Maybe not for your sanity, because race threes are always stressful. But
yeah,
GG's to both of you.
well,
Like this could have gone either
I'm
way.
sure chat would like it.
All right, so yeah, if neither of you have any final thoughts, I think we'll wrap it up.
GG's again, Centroid. Look forward to game 2.
Yeah, thank you. GG to you as well. And thank you to the Stream team. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
GG's.
shout outs to the Restream team. We have Sin Dennis here on the tracker. Of course, the Restreamer. We have Furious Prince. We have my co-commentator Indio, who is first time commentary, so shout outs there, and myself Esmar. All right, have a
GG's,
good night,
guys. Great
everyone.
race.